Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Bonnie Kate Theater. My name is Chris Long. I'm the special guest host for this night's event. We'll be performing here later with Gary Hensley and Jeff Lane. We'll be up in the next round, but we're going to start tonight's show off with our feature performer, Mr. Scott Wild. Let's give a big round of applause for Scott coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Now, this is our tribute to Veterans Showcase, the Veterans Day 2019 quickly approaching. This is what we're going to be focusing some of our show on tonight. Scott's going to start us off. We're going to talk a little bit to each of the artists as the show goes on, so then we find out a little bit more about the songs we're going to be playing. Well, how you doing tonight?
Good, Chris.
Welcome out.
Good, Chris.
If you want to introduce yourself to everybody right quick. And then
My name is Scott Wild. I served in the United States Army between 1984 and 2016. So, 2007, went to Iraq and stayed there for about 15 months. I'm sorry, that was Afghanistan. In 2011, I was in the last rotation to Iraq when we crossed the border and that war ended, or at least the troops were out. Yeah.
Now, how long have you been writing songs and performing?
I got back into writing songs in 2012. I've been playing since I was a kid. I wrote some songs in high school and stuff like that, and grew up playing the drums. And for some reason in 2012, I started getting back into the guitar and writing, and that's just kind of stayed with me.
There must have been something about that year, because that's when I started back to
Okay,
playing after a little
there you
hiatus.
go.
There's something about 2012. I think Jeff may have somewhere around that area that we can get into later. And the songs you're going to be performing tonight, they're based on your experiences from?
They are, I'll play several original songs, and some are based on a military experience. They're about some people that served at the time that I served. Some are more historic. A couple about, Vietnam. A lot of my instructors were Vietnam veterans, and I hold that generation in very high esteem. They did a lot for my generation in terms of the lessons learned, the way they changed the military. There are more people staying alive now because of what they did and how they changed the doctrine and stuff.
Now, I know for all of us writers, we have people that have influenced us in our styles and who we look to when we're writing, who we like to listen to. Who are some artists that...
Okay, so I was born in 1960 and grew up in that time. Some my favorite artists, obviously Bob Dylan. Everybody likes that guy, or most people do. Bob Dylan, Neil Young. The Beatles, the Rolling Stones. These are, the stuff I grew up playing and enjoyed.
That's fantastic. I think those are on about all of our lists, too. I think all of us are. Dylan's mandatory. If you're a songwriter and you don't listen to Dylan, there's something.
The joy stuff.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to let Scott take the stage here. He's going to perform for us. And once again, let's give a big round of applause for Scott.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody. Well, this first song is dedicated to two soldiers who won the Medal of Honor. The first one is Paul Ray Smith, Sergeant First Class Paul Ray Smith. He was killed in Iraq in 2003 in Baghdad. He was an engineer, non-commissioned officer, and they had a mission on the outskirts of the airfield in Baghdad to set up a perimeter. And while they were doing that, enemy forces spotted them, a larger enemy force spotted them and started moving in on their position. They were outnumbered, so Sergeant Smith, being the senior person there, manned this 50 cal, I think it was a 50 cal, on top of the vehicle so his people could egress, so they could get away, and he just held that until they eventually overran him. So he gave his life for his unit. The second is Staff Sergeant Robert Smith, who was killed in Afghanistan in 2008 on January 25th. He was a Special Forces soldier, and they were up in Konar province, which is one of the most dangerous areas in the mountains there, northeastern part of the country. And again, they were out on a patrol when a larger enemy force ambushed them. And so the best they could do was try to get away from that force. And he was the one, again, who stayed behind and held off that force so that the rest of his unit could escape, and they did. I was working in the operations center on that day, and we could, you could see the predator feeds that show what's going on out there. So you could see, this one guy holding off all these people is very heroic. This song is called Above and Beyond, and it's dedicated to those two soldiers. Greater love hath no man, give his life for his friend. Brightest light of love on darkest day. A purpose higher than oneself, noble souls who fought and fell. The precious gift of life they gave away. And so their memory remains. And so their memory remains. And some things only love explains, when only a memory remains. Now they fly above and beyond. They raise the tree of liberty with conspicuous gallantry, beyond what the call could require. When others called, they ran in, heroically saving men, rescuing the wounded under fire. And so their memory remains. So their memory remains. And some things only love explains, when only a memory remains. Now they fly above and beyond. Not for fortune or for fame, few on earth would know their name, and sacrifice and price that they paid. Galling fire hailing down, the situation on the ground spurred them to inspire and lead the way. And so their memory remains. And so their memory remains. And some things only love explains, when only a memory remains. Now they fly above and beyond. Now they fly above and beyond. How they fly above and beyond. Thank you very much. The generation, Vietnam, where they were drafted. They were the last generation to be drafted. And earlier this year, I lost a friend, Danny Ray Arbuckle. He was a Vietnam vet who got drafted, a great guitar player. We met because I was playing drums for him. And eventually, I think it was Agent Orange, he died of cancer and had to be related to that. But, he went through, he got drafted and he went, and they put him in the 9th Infantry and they put him in the jungle and he served his country. He was wounded and he suffered a lot from that, post-traumatic stress and everything, but he overcame that, raised a beautiful family, a heart of gold. So this song is dedicated to those Vietnam veterans who got drafted and sent off the war. This song's called Sonny Jim. Had a brother who was in the service, sent off to Vietnam. But we all prayed, waited for the day that he'd finally come on home. The sacrifices made there in that foreign land, oh Lord, so few will ever understand. Sonny Jim, when are you coming home again to fill this empty aching inside? Sonny Jim, when are you coming home again to fill this empty aching inside? Jim used to play with all the boys in the band. You see, Jim was our drummer, the best we ever had. And one thing I always remember about Jim, ever since he was a child, he got his name from his broad, bright grin. Yeah, Sonny Jim always smiled. Empty aching inside. Sonny Jim, when are you coming home again to fill this empty aching inside? Sonny Jim went away, got his name on file in Washington, listed as an MIA. And so I wear a red wristband in memory of the man. But oh Lord, I don't believe I'll ever understand. Empty aching inside. Sonny Jim, when are you coming home again to fill this empty aching inside? Thank you. This one's about a Civil War soldier. This is a song about a private in the Army of Northern Virginia who finds himself in Gettysburg at Pickett's charge. He's a private, so he follows orders, and he's about to make that charge. And it's about that attack from his perspective. It's called Southern Wind. was more than I could ask. Days gone by and sunsets past. With my full strength, you're my love to the last. A living day that I come to. Battle clouds are all I see. And so I fear this day may be. And if I fall, remember me. When flowers bloom with the new morning dew. The bugle sounds, advances the line. A mass of men marching in time. Shoulder to shoulder, the high ground we climb. Into the clash of the gray and the blue. 100-yard broken field run. My peace is made and the hours come. Into the fray charged soldiers so young. The cannon flash was the last thing I knew. Blood on the ground, cold as a stone. My bleeding wounds and chilled to the bone. We fought for our families, we fought for our homes. And by the grace of God, I'll return unto you. Farewell to the sword and farewell to the gun. Glory lost and glory won. Farewell to the fathers, farewell to the sons. Finer men I never knew. And all about me is hallowed ground. Washed in the rain's healing sound. The muddy road to the burning towns, where I am bound to start anew. Southern wind, take me in from the cold, to her tender hand in the fields of gold. Prayer, my loves, now I'll grow old, loving you, loving you, loving you, loving you. Thank you very much. I'm going to do one more. My grandfather was a World War I veteran in the British Army, and he was a signal soldier. You know, his job was to go lay out that wire and all that sort of stuff. But he served in the British Army from 1916 to 1926. He went in at age 16 and left at age 26. Lost 2 brothers in the war. And he was a boxer, and he boxed in the Army, in the regiment, and then he boxed when he moved to America. He would box on Broad Street, Newark in New Jersey. He would box he was a middleweight, he boxed the heavyweights to make $15 to help feed the family. He didn't really have any education. So it was kind of a roughneck, took whatever jobs he could get. But people didn't understand post-traumatic stress in those days, so a lot of World War I veterans really became drifters. A lot of them were the ones that rode the rails, were the railroad riders, just kind of searching for themselves. And that's kind of what it's. So this song is loosely based on my grandfather and others like him at that time, and it's called The Wandering Great War Veteran Blues. Sleeping in a doorway, policeman pokes me, wants to see an ID, I ain't got one. Collect up your things here and move it along. Sisters of Mercy, standing in soup line, hands me a hot cup, God bless you, ma'am. The Lord surely see the good you done. Fought in the Great War, up in a trench line, cannon shells and landmines, and somehow I got home. Ain't a lot of glory out in no man's land. Contended for a belt once, sparring in a prize ring, only got my bell rung, and that prize is gone. Ain't a lot of love when the glove lands home. Stogie smoking rich man, he don't offend me. Grace the Lord sends me, why should I envy? I just keep searching for the place I belong. Clear, starry, cold night, huddled by a stovepipe, trying just to keep warm till the light of dawn. Church bells ringing on a Sunday morn. Singing brakeman, playing in a train yard, song for the common man, we all sing along. Bless you, sir, for the song you sung. Light my last lucky strike, sitting on a woodpile, waiting for the last train, be along in a while. Gonna hop that freighter to the next town down. Hop on a boxcar, ride to the next town. Well, maybe I'll just stay on till I'm glory bound. Yeah, maybe just keep riding till the kingdom comes. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Tom, Karen. Thanks for having me.